Hello, beautiful souls. I did a longer video about all of this information, but I'm going to break this up into more digestible pieces. This video, we're going to talk about soul fragments, soul retrieval, oversoul, higher self. I can get my prints here. Parallel selves, timelines, selves, twin souls, soulmates, soul families, possession versus attachment, starseeds and ascension light body activation, as well as channeling, incarnated contracts, and underlining themes of this all. All right, so this one might be a little longer than the first one. So welcome back. We're outside getting our nature in, grounding, staying connected. So the soul, I'm just gonna break this down. Again, get curious. Write this information down. If it resonates, lands somewhere in your being, maybe you're going through something right now. So I'm just going to go through just a quick overview of the soul. The soul is often described as an eternal spark behind your personality. It's the traveler that exists before birth and after death. Your mind changes, your body changes, and your emotions rise and fall. The soul is imagined as the deeper current of it all. It's the witness. It is the memory carrier. It is the energetic signature. It is the note. It is the note that your being sings into existence. All right, some traditions see the soul as a singular yet indivisible. Others see it as a layered oversoul, monad, higher self, fragments, aspects, and timelines. All right, the body is the instrument, the personality is the song, and the soul is the musician. All right. So we're going to start with, again, we keep it real. I'm all over the camera because I'm holding it. The soul fragmentation and soul retrieval. All right, this is the idea, says that the pieces of the soul can split off during trauma, grief, shock, or intense experiences. Again, a lot of us starseeds have experienced many soul fragmentations and have been working on retrieving those aspects for a while during this awakening process. Why do the stranger things, the darker things, why do we contract this? Again, just part of the lesson. But what happens is when you're experiencing severe trauma, hurt, pain, whatever it is, and a lot of time in childhood, it honeycombs the psyche, the soul. It fragments that out into all places, right? So calling that back in the retrieval is part of the awakening process. So some of you have been working with the soul retrieval, soul fragmentation retrieval, or feeling that you feel like you might be needing to call that back. Or maybe you have the feeling that those parts of you are coming back to you finally. All right, so some people might describe this as feeling numb, not all there, disconnected from joy or vitality. Like soul retrieval is found in a lot of shamanic traditions. Okay, again, we always guide you into getting curious and doing your own research on this. Okay, in the process of calling those soul aspects back, all right, I call all parts of my soul back now, from all timelines, dimensions, spaces, places, portals, and realms. Known and unknown, seen or unseen, conscious or unconscious. I call those aspects, those parts of my soul, I scattered across. Okay, I call those back now. And there's many invocations you can use that are very powerful. And so parts of your light wandered into the wilderness, and now you're inviting them back to the fire. So if you've sat in front of a fire and you see the sparks break off, like into the tree or whatever, chipmunks, now what you're doing is calling those sparks back into the fire, the cosmic fire. All right, so the oversoul, higher self. All right, so I refer to my higher self all of the time. All right, so rather than one isolated soul, some traditions describe a larger consciousness, the oversoul, expressing itself through multiple timelines, dimensions, and incarnations, which is fact. All right, your current self is one facet of a much larger crystal. In this view, intuition equals messages from your higher self. Synchronicities are alignment, signals, and codes. Awakening is remembering the larger identity. All right? Again, you can go deeper into each of these aspects because this is just like a little snippet. Parallel selves and timeline selves, okay? So spiritually, some spiritual systems believe that aspects of you exist simultaneously across timelines, different timelines, dimensions, spaces, places, portals, and realms. That is fact. It's called a quantum. All right. Some people sometimes describe sudden personality shifts, vivid dreams of alternate lives. Have you been experiencing this? I have. like where there's the same kind of people or family members, especially ones I haven't been in contact, but we're doing something somewhere in some timeline or alternate reality, you know, like the multiverse. All right, vivid dreams, alternate lives, unexplained skills showing up and or fears showing up, intense deja vu. This is a bleed through from parallel expressions of your consciousness. Cosmically, your soul is a prism casting many versions of itself across reality. All right, it's parallel selves and timeline selves. Now we've got the twin soul, and I can talk about this because I am one of two, twin soul or twin flame, and we're not talking about the pink fluffy stuff, the stuff that is romanticized on the internet. All right, a popular spiritual concept where two beings are seen as mirrors of the same energetic essence, which means there's one stream, one essence spark that has split itself off into two bodies, okay, to have those experiences. And it's a mirror, it's a reflection, it's an activation. When you come into physical contact and you make eye contact, you activate each other, you mirror each other. All right, the awakening usually begins, or many. It's that first realization of you're looking at yourself, basically, the other part of you. Okay, so these relationships are often described as magnetic, catalytic, emotionally intense, and spiritually transformative. And I would say all of that and more. The purpose is usually framed as less romantic, but there can be this deep connection, this deep romance to a degree. Again, it's not the pink fluffy stuff. It is an accelerated evolution and self-confrontation. So it's an accelerated evolution for each person and self-confrontation. So it forces you to confront yourself, to wake up, and to do the work, to do the healing. The purpose is usually framed. Or so sometimes communities romanticize this, and that's not the health. It's not the pink fluffy stuff. You need to use discernment. All right, go to Sacred Soul Rising. Kat from Sacred Soul Rising. She's got a very good YouTube channel. If you are curious to get more clarification, if you feel like you are part of or experiencing this, okay? Soulmates, and soul families. Instead of one half, many traditions describes that these are groups of souls. So if you don't know by now, you incarnate typically as different groups of souls, clusters, who repeatedly incarnate together in different roles: parent, child, friend, rival, teacher, lover, boss, you know, stuff like that, okay? The idea is that the souls travel in constellations like stars, helping each other evolve through many forms of relationships. So next is possession versus attachment. These are very different than walk-ins. Some traditions distinguish this between temporary energetic attachments, I've experienced this, intrusive entities, experience this, or possession states. All right, the concept exists in religious and occult systems worldwide, but interpretations vary gradually. And in modern life, experiences described this way can also overlap with other psychological distresses, trauma, and our altered states, which is all connected back in. There is a correlation there, okay? Unlike walk-ins, these are usually described as unwanted and destabilizing, confusing, chaotic, distracting, all of the above, okay? So starseeds, okay? A modern spiritual belief that some souls originated in other realms, planets, dimensions, portals before incarnating on Earth. I am a intergalactic soul. Intergalactic, okay? People who resonate with this often feel different from humanity, homesick from somewhere unknown, deeply drawn to the cosmos, mission-oriented, like again, black sheep of the family, round peg, square hole. You just don't fit into any systems. You've never felt comfortable in certain places. And again, we're just going to give some notes. That could be Pleiadian, Arcturian, Sirian, Andromedan, Lyran. So many different blends. Yeah, there's so much more than just what was given here. All right. So ascension and light body activation, which a lot of us have been experiencing as well. And this is the idea where consciousness is evolving into this higher vibrational state, which is taking place. Symptoms people associate this with are heightened intuition, emotional purging, sensitivity to energy, vivid synchronicities, altered perception of time. And again, these are just some small snippets. Highly always recommend going deeper on each one and see if you feel called to. There's a reason your soul is calling you to go deeper, because there's probably more information, activations, key codes, keywords, signs, synchronicities, whatever it is. All right, your light body is an energetic structure awakening within this human experience. Okay? Always real, always raw, and always authentic here, and all of its messy, magnetic magnificence. Channeling. All right, my channelers, my verbal channelers. Some people believe consciousness can temporarily transmit wisdom or energy through them from your guides, your ancestors, your higher selves, cosmic intelligence, source, prime creator, angels, etc. Okay? Use your discernment. Okay? This ranges from subtle inspiration to full trance states depending on the tradition. Well, depending on the situation, because I have experienced it a few different ways, and I didn't realize it was a verbal channel. Pretty much most of my health and wellness career, over 20 years, that when I would have consultations or communication or work with people, that I would basically channel what needed to come through, because I would not remember typically what took place or what was said, but the person that received the message would receive exactly what they needed to hear, the codes, the synchronicities, the human words, but they were also receiving the frequency and the energy and the resonance of that. So incarnational contracts, a belief that souls choose a theme before birth. Yes, you choose many themes and lessons before you come in, and my right ear is going really off, so there's some confirmation. So if you were unsure and you're in the woe is me, why did I put myself, why did my soul decide to go through all this abuse and trauma and hurt and pain, especially from childhood, young peoplehood, or even now, whatever it is, it's for expansion, growth, and lessons, and you do this to expand. Okay, there needs to be a higher perspective. So this is for somebody. This could be relationships, challenges, gifts, karmic balancing, service paths, right? Different types of things could be fit in there. So this is not usually rigid fate. It's not fate. It's a blueprint. Okay, it's a blueprint that is woven. It's a blueprint that you're weaving. Okay, so the underlying theme, most of the systems revolve around a few core ideas. Consciousness is larger than the personality. Identity is fluid. Awakening involves remembering, and I am here to remind you, 12:21 on the timer, of who you are through frequency, through energy, through essence, through flavor, through color, and through resonance. Okay? All right, awakening involves remembering. Life has symbolic and spiritual dimensions. There's so much more beyond the human vision that you have no idea, that you cannot see. Relationships shape evolution. Different traditions tell a story differently, but they're often trying to answer the same ancient question. What are we beneath the surface of ordinary life? All right, so let me make sure that that's all of it for this one. Grab my papers. Yes, that is it. So I'm going to do a third video on the monad and the oversoul. So 1313, take what resonates, leave what does not. Again, I was guided to separate this all out individually, and if you catch all of these videos, there's no coincidence. You might be guided to go a little deeper on each aspect. Like if you feel like maybe there's a walk-in situation or an infusion, returning of soul, fragments, different things like that. All right, 1331. I love you. Until next time, I'll see you soon. Bye.